Hey, 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 welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for whoever that lands on it. But I'm going to first do a message for my winner, a shadow reading for my winner. All right, I think it's 2 o'clock in the morning over there. It's 11 o'clock over here. I have my incense going. I tried to get into that's why I think I was like a minute late. No, it's actually 11 o'clock now, but I was like, I'm going to be late. It's like, because right before you want to get into the mood, the energy. So I hope that everyone's ready to dive deep, because these readings here are all about shadow healing. Understand there's many different realities that play out at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs. All right, I got to get rid of the smoke, because now it's a little bit too much of ambiance. And though I love sense of smell, sense of smell triggers the olfactory nervous system, which helps us heal. I don't know if you knew that. Because again, so if you're someone that gets overstimulated and you want to tap in deep into yourself, then again, your olfactory nervous system will get you there. You will actually transcend to where you need to be. I know that sounds crazy, but we want to know these things because it's all about healing. Healing on this channel. So do I tell you what is going to happen? What did happen? Yes, but we focus more on the spiritual blocks of shadows. And then we see how they play out as karmic themes. And the reason why is because the majority of times, unfortunately, we're not attracting the person that we think that we're attracting. All the time, we're not attracting the person that we're thinking that we're attracting. But a lot of times, we're attracting people that bring out the worst in us, bring out our shadows. And shadows are parts of ourselves that we've rejected. So we wouldn't know this. No one's aware of where they've detached from. So what happens is the universe brings us situations and experiences to create awareness. Now, we're down here in physical form to learn and to manifest. And you might be saying, well, what the hell do I need to learn? And you're supposed to be learning. You're not separate from God, which is unconditional love, the energy of the universe, because the universe is God. The universe is just energy. And we have that same energy inside of us, and that allows us to become supernatural. But we have to be in the vibration of unconditional love. And we wouldn't know that we weren't. I mean, we all, again, try to put our best foot forward, but when we have spiritual blocks, there's behaviorisms and habits that block us. So the readings are never just yes or no. There's always explanation. There's always channeled, and there's always pulled cards, okay? Just so that you understand, there's more of a therapy vibe. And it's because, again, we want to focus on why am I attracting this person into my life? What the fuck do I need to learn? And that is exactly how what we're saying, because we're really frustrated and we're sad, we're angry, and there's a lot of, again, negative energy that winds up penting up inside of us from these experiences. And understand that energy really needs to be integrated and transmuted. Otherwise, then it affects our energy body. Again, you're an energy being. The prana that you breathe is spirit, is God, it needs to flow through you to work through you. When we have spiritual blocks, it doesn't. It means that we're stuck. So again, all about integrating. So we can create the awareness, but whatever homework you get, it means that you're applying what you're being taught here into life. Because it's about seeing yourself differently, getting a different outcome. No one needs to be back and forth in one of these toxic relationships. We don't want to be playing fucking ping pong, because that's what it looks like, and it's ridiculous, and it's like, and it's frustrating, and it keeps us in a low vibe. Hello, Vanessa. I'm going to call you Vanessa because I just can't. I'm bad with words, okay? I just can't with names, and I'll call you Abraxter. Like, so we're not going to go there. All right. So again, this is your reading, but understand if you landed on this, you're going to resonate with it. Again, you're a magnet of whom what comes into your life, especially when we're talking about shadows. So if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you're going to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. And it is the underlining energy that tells us why everybody's doing what they're doing. We want to know that when we're dealing with people that have shadow and blocks, because when they have shadows and blocks, they have a lot of psychological reversals, which means they get in their own way. They sabotage the connection. They do everything that's in alignment with their core belief, not with what their desire is. And what creates that? Again, the person's experiences. So it's all about learning not to take things personally, okay? Again, we're going to use the Laura Schwalm Psychic Soul Healer deck, made for healing the shadow aspects of self. There are 68 cards in the deck titled under Transpersonal Psychology. All right. Well, those popped out, so we're just going to take them because, again, I don't believe in any mistakes. Well, you're in connection with someone that has a lot of spiritual blocks, and again, they're reactive. They're extremely reactive. And I feel like they have trauma. And so whatever you said to them, they didn't really hear. They heard through the filter of their wound. And so they don't really want to come back to you and apologize. They're kind of waiting you out because they want to, again, they create this facade. And this facade is that they, are better than you or that they don't need you, that they have all these other options, but understand they have options, but the options are not good options. It's like that card, the tarot card that has all the cups, but a snake is in one of the cups. It's like, that's this person. And it's really their pride, their ego. I feel like they realized what they did a while ago, but they didn't apologize. And so so you're in separation from this person right now. Let's see exactly what happened. But this is the underlining energy, that they're prideful, and they're prideful because, again, they don't want to really seem as if they care, which, again, psychological reversal. This is a person that has feelings for you, but they don't really believe that they can have love. And I feel like they don't believe that they can have love because obviously they get in their own way. They are very reactive. And again, so we all go in and out of consciousness, but if we have trauma that we haven't healed or integrated, we tend to see what we look for. So I feel like this person hears things partially, sees things partially, imagines things, because, again, your amygdala is a gland that senses outside stimuli that corresponds with any trauma that you've gone through. So again, it's a survival mechanism. So the person isn't really grounded. They're not really secure. So they were up in their head because they have feelings. They wish that they didn't have feelings because, again, they almost feel like they don't have control. And when they don't have control, they sabotage themselves. They're a highly sensitive person, I feel, that has trauma, and trauma from early childhood that has never been healed has played out in other relationships. Now, they again learn to navigate their life through not having emotions. But again, you make them have emotions, make them feel. And they don't like that. That's a problem. You're going to actually feel as if the person punishes you. It's, again, because there's a sense of not being able to control. And this is the energy of reactive, because this person doesn't like who they are because they're reactive, and you don't get a good manifestation when you are coming from a place of fear. You get a bad situation only if you're like running from a bear, and you're not supposed to be running from a bear all the time. Survival like that. This person is, again, reactive because they're always in survival because they don't trust themselves. So we're not going to see a good positive reading here. I just want you to know that, because already it's just like there's nothing good about it. And that's not because they don't have feelings. That's the kicker. Well, go and do a reading. The person will be like, I feel like you're my heart's desire. And you'll be like, what the fuck? And it's because their idea of love is ownership, expectation. Oh, but again, it's your reading. Right. And it's all, and that's what happens. It gets out of control because the ego. It's again, the mask slips, and I don't look perfect now. And you made me not look perfect because I don't have control. Too much thought, mind chatter, trying to think, trying to strategize instead of coming from the true self, the higher self, and being real. You want to pretend that you're above it. You want to pretend that you're better. And in that, you're really lonely. And so this person's stuck between a rock and a hard place because they want to have it, but then they don't want to really be vulnerable to it. So there's a sense of almost like, that's going to sound like they feel powerless with you. And now, because you're not sticking around for the BS, and again, there's a sense that you cut your energy because you weren't getting anything. I feel like you were abandoned. That's what it felt like. And it's mainly because this person's prideful. And so the longer that the energy goes, the more that this person sabotages himself, not really because of what happened, but because of how they handled what happened, which again, reactive behavior and then not fixing it, pretending it didn't happen, is what really has put you in a place of like, now I'm starting to fucking hate you. Like, and this is how the person tends to, again, sabotage it because they're in a power struggle, right? And when you're in a power struggle, that's what it is. It's that two people that, like, all you're doing is saying, respect me, listen to me and pay attention to me. And this person doesn't really want to do that. They want to be selfish. So that's really what it is. It's like, it's all like caught up in this person's head. Yeah, it puts this person in a very vulnerable space. And that is going to create the behaviorisms because they don't want to feel. They don't want to navigate the relationship through that. They want the upper hand. They want to come more from the physical perspective. I don't even want to say surface. I just think that this person has major commitment issues. It's again, what it is, had a hard time of letting go of the past and the fears associated with it. So they again manifest as bad relationships. And I feel that that's for you too. So you're like, well, again, isn't that for everybody? And after a while, yes. And without healing the effects of trauma, what you're going to see is that people are not going to get married anymore. People are not going to be in relationships anymore. And it's because there's a sense of always being victimized, always feeling betrayed, not really being able to let your guard down. It's like that's what happens because of this person's, when you're in a relationship with someone like this that's always protecting themselves, what they're doing is they're really getting in their own way of having love and sabotaging the relationship. And the person that's in the relationship is actually being abused because they're never getting what they need. Because the person is, again, survival, so they're selfish. So again, like this is why they're reactive, because they haven't healed from the past. It's they're bringing all that baggage from every relationship now into this relationship. And so what they do again is try to manipulate. It's a sense of let me control the situation. Again, strategizing, not coming from the higher self, the God part of self, which is your intuition, the gut. It's a knowing. It's again, hey, being able to go with the flow because you're comfortable in yourself. This person's not comfortable in themselves around you. And it's because you make them feel. It's again, and you may say, well, this person makes me feel the same exact way because I can feel their bullshit. And that's again, but the spirit says, but don't you understand? You wouldn't be able to, this person wouldn't be able to make you feel that way if you didn't have that. So you're a mirror of who and what comes into your life. You may not behave the same way. Your behaviorisms aren't the same. Your attachment styles aren't the same. But both attachment styles are imbalanced. So you're getting this person to teach you balance. And that's really what I see here. Yeah, they live in the past, but again, no one could have control over you. So when the truth of the matter is that people tend to let people get comfortable too soon, too fast. And that's what it is. It's like relationships are really happen over time when we're really busy in life and we're living our life. Then what happens is you meet a person when you're in this realm of being busy in life, interactive in life, with not just doing but connecting to people. So emotionally being fed, so you don't give too much. So otherwise you make people get too comfortable. You made somebody too comfortable with you too fast. And then all of a sudden they're the victim. Oh, you know my past. It's like everybody has a fucking past. And you weren't that way in the beginning of the relationship. Now all of a sudden, like the relationship gets to a certain phase of intimacy, and now all of a sudden, woe is you because of the past relationship. I don't want to hear it. No, that's a survival mechanism to get you to take less. It's a manipulative tactic. And so when you go in and you accept less, because you say, well, I want to be accommodating. No, God says, oh, hell no. That's accepted less. And I live inside of you. And that's a hell no. Because again, honor first. Because that person just wants to be comfortable. But they don't care if it's imbalanced there. You're not making them think about you. You didn't make the person think about you. And that's not going to be in the cards. So I'm not going to pretend that it is. But it's, again, manipulation. That's how they did it. Where it's like they come in like handicapped. You know, when a person's like, oh, my relationships, it's like, listen, then take the cast off and or I'm going to give you a handicap version of myself, which is a lot less. I can't do everything when I'm handicapped. If I want to climb a mountain, we can't do it. It's going to be cut off to aspects of things that would that would connect you to me more on an emotional level. And that's really what it is. It's like this connection is deep. Now it's like after a certain amount of time, you know me, I know you. Now you have expectation of me. Now I look for things that are wrong with you. So I've never really allowed you to get comfortable in the relationship because the whole time I'm not comfortable. And that's really what it is. But is the person conscious of that? No, they're not. They're just going to be pointing out everything that you don't like about the connection and how you verbalize that to make you feel bad. And it's like, again, felt like you treated like a child. And where, again, I feel like this person would yell at you, or if not yell at you, I just feel like talk to you in a manipulative way to make you feel as if that there was something wrong with you. Another manipulative tactic. Now, I don't know why it says X Factor on top of this card, because I feel like maybe, again, that's about the baggage from the past. Really, like this person hasn't healed, hasn't integrated those things. So they're a constant time bomb. And sometimes it's not even from past relationships. It's happened from childhood first. And then went into their relationships with a certain attachment style always attracted the opposite attachment style. And then what happens is there's always a runner chaser dynamic. Emotionally, someone's not, that person that they're connected to is usually not being fed. So they try to manipulate the relationship so that they don't have to get deep. And if you're not aware of this, and the way that you would be aware is not really having to know, but it's how you hold yourself, how you deal with the connection. And that's by not giving so much. Like you have to give a little bit over time, and the person gets mad. They're going to get mad. They're going to actually think that there's something wrong with you. But understand, if there's a real connection, they're going to come back. Their way is to be like, well, I really like this person. When the person really has feelings for you, and it doesn't matter how broken they are, how many blocks they have, when you hold out on them, then their ego gets involved. So it becomes still about wanting what they can't have. Again, triggering their abandonment. So the thing here is they came in handicap. You gave more, you compensated, overcompensated, which made you uh, abandon yourself. And when you do that, then you set yourself up to be abandoned within the relationship because of, again, their supposedly vulnerability. But they, again, did not have that problem when they first met you. So it's not that they didn't, they hid that. All of a sudden, after a certain point within the relationship, now I got what I want. Now I built an emotional connection to you, meaning you to have one to me. And I didn't allow myself to have one to you because, again, I came in handicapped. I didn't have to give as much. And that's why it said that happened. In the moment, it was hard to understand 9 years of, 9 years of manipulation. And then they disappear. Right. Because it's like, now I'm expecting, and especially after 9 years. So that was a long time of manipulation of you believing. At first, it was like, let's face it, it was a low self-esteem. It was because, again, there are signs where, again, you didn't come in and ask. And when you don't come in and set boundaries right from the get-go, and I don't care what type of relationship, the person could be real respectful and nice. They don't know who you are. They don't know what works for you. You teach a person how you want to be treated by how much you give. And the bottom line is what happened? This person, like I said, came in broken. So you felt bad and you were so paying attention to fixing this person, you weren't fixing yourself. So you abandon yourself. And that breaks the number one spiritual law, abandonment of self. Because God says, you're not allowed to do that. I live inside of you as a gift of spirit. So when that happens, well, it's, again, I feel like tries to go out. Well, I feel like, well, now because you've detached, well, the whole thing of, again, 9 years, I feel like I really have you, but every time you move a little bit, of course I'm going to pull you back because I consider you property. Your property. It's about dominance. It's about control, because that's what this person thinks that love is, but it's the ego, and it's the ego because of their trauma that they haven't healed. So it's not a healthy love, and it keeps you stuck in a place of fear all the time because you don't know what you're getting. The person gets angry. I did right. Well, that's what it is. It's like that right. This person created that post-traumatic stress is because, again, you're dealing with a ticking time bomb where they want to control, and if they can't control you, They'll do it by manipulation at any force because it's about dominance. It's again, they don't want to see abandonment. So you can't control the person. You have to again control yourself. But I'm just telling you how this dynamic unfolded, why it unfolded, so that if it ever happens again, you again don't get stuck in another karmic loop of hey, like here we go again, because that's what happens. You get a person that comes in a little bit broken, a handicap. I call it emotionally handicapped, like that. I've been hurt in a relationship, so I can't give you. I'm healing from a breakup, so I can't give you. So again, people that don't know their worth, they give. Oh, let me help you. Let me be there for you because we have a connection. Of course, that person has a connection. They want love. They know how to get that love, but they're not giving. If you notice, so it's not an equal give and take reciprocity. They don't set the relationship up for that way. So then the post traumatic stress is this. There's a fact that the higher self, the God part of self, everybody's intuitive, knows this person's not going to take care of me. So again, because post-traumatic stress is really like not feeling safe. But again, it's not really about feeling safe like with this person, like they're going to murder you, but it's safe emotionally and they're not going to show up for you. And now what they show you is emotionally, they're going to again try to manipulate. And that's the problem. Understand? Thank you. So that's really what it is. It's just to help you understand so you break the karmic cycle because that'll happen again, especially in this type of relationship, right? It's again, it's not that this person doesn't think that they love. They love. That's the way that they love, but it's not a healthy love. They have wounds. So it's almost like if you were starving and then you went into a buffet, you'd grab a plate and you'd say, I need everything that's on the menu. And your plate would be like this big, and you'd come back to the table and you'd sit and you'd eat it. And you'd say, eat my like part of it. And you'd say, wow, God, my eyes were bigger than my stomach. It's like this person will either overcompensate or undercompensate within their behaviorisms because they're not coming from their true self, the higher self. They're coming from the ego, the shadow. So they're emulating. And so if you're not balanced and you're emotionally trying to like accommodate this person, you're going to get screwed. You're going to like, and it's like, again, but it's not because this person doesn't care. They're caught up in their past trauma. That's what this card shows. And again, it makes them feel like, again, powerless. But I feel like being in a relationship with this person would make you feel powerless. Because it's like I always have to accommodate them because the focus is always on them. And that's the whole thing. Like, it reminds me of, and again, this is for your reading, almost like this person. Did you ever see those cartoons where the woman is sitting and then the man's sitting on top of her, like how a woman is actually, where it's like they want to be coddled. They want to be mommied. They want to be, but then they don't want to give. And so, and even really with women, you can be connected to like a woman that hasn't been nurtured, so they want to be taken care of, but in that they're not even thinking about you. It's like they're thinking of you as what you can do for them. That's the ownership. Right. That's what I envision with this person, where it's like, and that's how they set it up. And that's why people get mad And that's where the toxic energy comes from, because after a while, a person's like, you're not giving back to me. It's like, and I'm always there for you. And then what happens is you become a problem. And this is, I feel like you had enough of their bad respect. This is, this is where your triggers, like, okay, well, what happened? And it's like, you just had enough. And I feel like the bad respect is, again, anytime you needed something, needed this person to show up for you, they weren't there. It's, again, they had a problem with it. The focus was back on them. And it's because you were their source of love. And they, of course, they loved it. Who wouldn't love that all the time? And where they don't have to like step into anything to do it. So again, the moment that you're not going to do it, it's like this person feels suffocated. They don't know how to do it for themselves. I mean, like, again, made you feel forgotten about. So it's, again, nothing lonelier than being in a relationship with someone that you're not in a relationship with, meaning that they don't show up in the relationship. Or they say that they have feelings, but they don't do anything in a relationship. So you might as well just be by yourself. And instead, you feel like you're holding space for someone to show up and they never show up. That's what it feels like. And then what it makes you feel like is empty. Makes you feel like, and it's the, and when you stay in that space, you don't realize that you're the person allowing it. And that's the manipulation. Because for some way, you were made to feel as if you were responsible for this person's emotional fulfillment. And that is the issue. Yeah, you wanted out because you were like, I don't really, I don't, well, again, I just feel like you didn't feel like you had anyone. I didn't realize that he betrayed you also. It just came down to, again, I don't have anyone. That's what I felt. Well, and that's why. So again, really, like, I don't have anyone. I don't feel safe. It's manipulation. It's again because I can't control you. So because I can't control you, I'm going to control the environment. So the environment will manipulate you into being subservient to me. And that happens from severe trauma, like having a parent that actually like holds your energy down. Someone in childhood that steals your energy. Again, made you feel unsafe. And that's, again, obviously, they manipulated your environment. Right. That's why that's the karmic wound. That's what you need to take away from this. That's the karmic wound. That, again, because if you don't heal that wound, that will continue to play out within every relationship where you're like, it's like sleeping with the enemy, where it's like it starts off love, but then it's about dominance and control. And when you don't become what they want you to become, it's manipulative, and they enter into the relationship setting it up right from the get-go. So, and that's the thing that you weren't looking for. You were naive. Like I said, this person came in broken, knowing how they were setting it up. It's so that they could have dominance over you. So that now is a double trauma where it would make you be like, I'm terrified to get into another relationship. How, what I know is spirit would say that would be right. And that's why you're on your healing journey now, which is great. I recommend somatic healing for you. I recommend doing breath work for you, because what happens when we're in a relationship that's survival, that triggers our survival? It triggers our adrenal glands. It's a root chakra imbalance. So it's better connection to the physical body, the physical world, all physical elements of the physical world, strengthening your immune system, your endocrine system, your skeleton system, all again major, the structure of the physical body, all the major ones. So it's about Eating in alignment for your alkalinity. Understand you lived in survival mode. You want to get your blood back to a alkaline instead of a acidity one. You want to do things like yoga or weights. It's about connecting to the breath, because again, we tend to hold our breath when we're in survival mode. We want to again set short-term goals and long-term goals and make your life look, I always say, make your life look like a pizza pie. There are 8 slices in a pie. So you want to have time for your workout, your physical body, your spiritual health, and then investing in yourself, giving yourself love. This will also help you connect to people. Learn that relationships are something that happen over time. Balance happens over time. You'll be able to go with the flow of life. When you go with the flow of life through your unique individuality, that's finding yourself, that you find your path, and that's an unfoldment process. So that's when you find your purpose. Try to do the healing. So I believe that again, you're supposed to do some sort of healing work, possibly again, somatic healing. And that's again, so your body is already telling you, your higher self is leading you to what you need to do. But then it's also, don't forget to have passion. Make sure you have enough passion in life whenever you want to. It's not about having conversations. People always know what they do. Okay. If you're in a relationship with someone and you've already had the conversation of what you need and they're not doing it, then it's not that they didn't get it. It's the fact that A, they don't know how to do that. B, their ego is too in the way. They don't want to do that. So you don't want to have a conversation to be like, see, I really this from you. Because then they're like, oh, good. Emotionally, I know you're not going anywhere. So you're going to continue to stick around and hope that one day I'll change. And then I'll give you a breadcrumb here, a breadcrumb there. I'll make these small changes, but it's never going to be satisfying. So what it is that's a sign that you need to again give yourself. Don't sit there again, because understand sometimes the universe has to come in and give a person a side slap across the head, a bitch slap across the head. And that's by saying, okay, now because you had to go to square dancing because this person was an asshole. And so you would say, I was so mad I had to like go out. So you went to square dancing. What did you know? You met someone at square dancing, or you went bowling, or you went wherever. You met somebody because you invested in yourself. When you're able to do that, then the universe is like bringing someone in to like trigger this person's ego. And that's really what it is. You want to be able to train a person through how you're treating yourself. And it's not always having a conversation with the person. People, again, today are always talk to, oh, you want to make sure that you communicate everything. There are things that are very obvious that people should know. And it's about respect. And it's almost like when people start the relationship off in a bad way, it's to first and foremost know how the relationship gets, if it starts off in a bad way because the person is coming in that way, that they can't, supposedly, I can't give you because I'm recovering from past relationship, then you need to be like, well, then maybe you should call me when you're over that. It's like, because the person will be like, well, that's not nice. Be like, well, I deserve to be in a healthy relationship. I don't need you to bleed all over me. It's like, I'm not your fix-it person. Hire a therapist. Go to a spiritualist. It's like, I'm working on myself. You want me to bring in all my baggage into this relationship? It's like either you treat me the way that I want to be treated or don't treat me at all. And so you have to demand it. And that takes confidence in a world that's going to teach you that you're not deserving of it, even though you are. And when you do that long enough, you get to a place where, yeah, you get a lot of people that don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to lie. But you get to a place of, fuck it, I don't care. And then that's when you meet the person, because the universe says, that's what I was looking for. That I wanted you to say, I don't care. I am unapologetic for what I know I'm deserving of. And that the universe brings you what you need. The same way it brings you what these shadow elements of you. The shadow elements are yelling louder than the beliefs. Everyone has shadows, and no one's going to be 100% healed in this lifetime. You're not, because you're down here to learn. You're not separate from God, which is unconditional love. And we all have wounds. It's, again, we have to integrate them and learn, see things from a higher perception so that we can evolve into the highest state of consciousness, which is unconditional love. And with that, but regardless of what a person looks like, what do they want to be, what the religion, whatever, what the fuck, and everything else. It's like, just because, and that's, we wouldn't want to. So it's about that. And I feel like you would get that way. And so, but you can get that way again through the healing. Sure, I feel like part of yours is going to lead you into doing healing work. Because when you need to do something often, a lot to heal, you become a master at it. That's why they say every master, it starts off as a disaster. It's because mastery comes in doing. It's a process. And because that couldn't have happened to you unless you had abuse growing up. And that's what you said. Yes, I did. So we see that playing out within your relationships. So you're on your healing journey, and that's what I said. But understand, you've lived a lifetime of pain through, again, how you grew up and then into the bad relationships. So however old you are is however much time you really need to put into healing. And I feel like you're relatively new. So again, mastery comes in doing. So it's about joining different things, seeing what you like. And the reason why is because if someone was holding your energy down, you were too much in survival mode to find yourself. The reason why it says be like childlike is because in the Bible, when we are like childlike, we don't have expectation. Remember when you were a kid and you found a box, you said, that could be my tree house. And then everyone got in the box in the backyard and pretended that it was a house. And then it rained. And now you're on the search for another box. But then guess what? You got sidetracked by Joe on the bicycle, who took you to some house. And there you saw that the weeds were high. And you said, hey, we could play hide and go seek. And there's no rhyme. There's no reason. It's to wander. When you're in that realm of wander with no expectation, you're able to get ideas, right? Because a child that survives thrives. So even though there was a lot of trauma in childhood, and that's through the imagination. If you can imagine it, you can create it, but now you have to embody it. You have to ground it. So it's the connection to the physical body, the physical world, all physical elements of the physical world. So we got to work on your money issue. It's again, and that's by becoming yourself. You always want to come from the highest vibration, which is unconditional love, so that you're a magnet for abundance, because that's really what it is. And understand, it only takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. We're all David going up against Goliath. God says, please don't do my job, do your job, which is just, again, believe. And it's the act. And everyone's faking it till they're making it. So it's about finding yourself, grounding yourself, becoming, getting a better connection to the physical body, the physical world and all physical elements of the physical world. So again, now I feel like, again, so then do that. I think it's put it so paint, draw, but it's about sharing, giving and receiving of love to help you create, because you want to see yourself differently. And how you see yourself differently is when you empower people. You were again suppressed. You were fearful. This is what transmutation is. It's taking that negative energy and putting it towards purpose. Otherwise, you're not able to really ground, and it's to be consistent with it. So it's to, again, to be shared, because that's going to make a path. It's going to make a way where there is no way, just for you. Yeah, I think it's, again, it should be negative and positive, like, aspects, because that's what people are and that's what people relate to. People want to connect to what's real. They want to, and no one wants to feel like it. No one wants to feel inadequate around people that want to pretend that they're perfect. That's not. We want to build, like, you want to build trust, because you, again, that second chakra was really affected, and that second chakra is your relationships, it's your individuality, it's not trusting yourself, it's not being able to go with the flow. So spirit's saying, well, you like to be a little controlling too, through your fear. So again, it's about finding yourself. So, and it's about doing it, and getting lost in that. And that's, again, and that only happens over time. And it's not really, again, I think new friends are helpful, but I think it's more about learning to trust yourself. And that's by listening to your intuition, stepping into it, having the unfoldment process, and understand, yes, you're doing part of it. That, so some of this is just confirmation, but it's also about you really, like, again, taking that energy and utilizing it for, again, what's lacking in your life, and that's, again, money, and that's connections. And that's right, it's, again, because you're utilizing that higher self, and that's what makes a person strong. People make the mistake of creating strength within their environment, building a big house to live in, and the car that they drive. Understand those things can get washed away by a hurricane, but if you're not strong, you won't be able to finance yourself back to where you were. So again, you'll be stuck in the past, where, again, being strong is to be able to go with the flow of life, understanding that money has no energy, and understand what's the spiritual block that's left within your life. It's actually grounding those spiritual blocks and transmuting them. That's how you really ground them. It's like by transmuting them, so you can see yourself differently, so you can attract different. That's why, because you're not going to stay in the consciousness that you are now. And so right now it's all fun doing the healing, but if you're not getting enough back and getting compensated, it's going to be hard for you to obtain. And that's really what Spirit is saying. Yeah, because you're there. You're there. Part of it is life experiences. Healers are made from life experiences. And so it's not, oh, I don't have enough. It's about the real integration process. I'm so glad that you resonated with that. You know, now, did you have any questions? I mean, that's what I get from the channel, and the relationship is now, it's, again, I just pretty much channeled, but we can, again, pull some cards about it. Well, it's like, you don't want to know about this person. This person's a jerk. That's why I wound up channeling the the advice, because the advice is, I don't do the cards for advice. I channel everything. And why use cards when spirit speaks to you directly, right? That's pretty much what it is. But we can again I have other cards, but if you're connected to someone and want to know, or you have a question, or anyone has a question at this point, please feel free to ask. Over time, I do feel like that person will like feel bad for hurting you because of how much you really did give. But they're not going to look at it until like after they're really like sabotage the relationship, but good. It's like because their ego is not going to want to be surrendered. I'm glad that you like the advice. Anyone else that will have any questions or want to know? If not, I gotta walk my dog. Like, I'm always open. Glad that you resonated. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, Vanessa. I appreciate you. And thank you for playing into a new relationship. Oh, with your best friend who you have known since. Sure, I could definitely do that. Let's see how that relationship goes. Let's pull from like a different deck. Like one that's not all about shadows, shall we? I mean, like we'll be a little bit let's see what they feel. I can't hide my true feelings anymore. I love you and I want to spend my life with you. So again, I feel like that's what they feel right now. So, I mean, is it genuine? Is it genuine? Let's see. Like, I mean, I think that it is genuine, but I feel like again, this person has trust issues with other people, the same as you do. So again, they feel safe. They feel safe, and yeah, they feel like again support. They feel like strong. They feel almost like that, like secure. Like that's the very secure with you. Like almost like and that's the thing when people have major trust issues, it's like relationships is something that happen over time. This is someone that you've known for a very long time, I mean, and they've invested. And I feel like during that time they did date. Now, this is not going to be in the cards, but it's like they did date. They did see. So what that's the thing, and that was because it was organic. It was organic. You weren't looking for it with this person. This person wasn't looking for it with you. It's what happens over time. It's again when both parties have intimacy issues, but both parties really want love only when they can surrender. And that's a spiritual thing. So there was a sense at points that where both of you guys kept comforting each other and coming together and coming together and separate and coming together and separate and coming together. And in that, there's a sense of safety. There's a sense of trust. There's an ESP connection through the heart and mind. And it is like it's a friendship, and that's what love is. That's what it's supposed to be. It's it's the opposite of what you had. And so you both didn't know what you wanted until you knew what you didn't want. And that is what was so attractive to each other. So yeah, this person is very organic. Um, do they feel like do I feel like this person, the biggest issue that you're going to have with this person is that they could be like an ostrich. And that's like, they avoid problems, like where they might not be that comfortable in having, in speaking what they need all the time, and yeah, I'm saying it's like always brought together, and not that's the trust. You've seen me at my best, you've seen me at my worst, and you have not judged me, right? And that's what, again, so you're going to be like, I'm not going to mother you. It's, again, you have to say, I'm not going to mother you. This is, you have to do this. Because what'll happen then is then you'll be accused later on down the line of being too controlling. And then that affects intimacy, and that it affects trust. Because again, intimacy is about trust. That's why you say, well, what the hell happened in the relationship? There was all hot and heavy, and then all of a sudden it's like you hate the person. And it's like, because again, the relationships are there's expectation. There's expectation. And when there's expectation, it doesn't work. And that's where God says, that's not me. That's ego. Expectation. Me is what you have with this person, which is friendship, loyalty, the good with the bad, the safety. That's when the walls come down. That's when true intimacy appears. Otherwise, people can't have intimacy. It's too scary. People, again, rush too much into it. They lose themselves, they abandon themselves. And then there's always, again, whoever's with you has that desire that's really never really met. And then there's resentment because they had appeared that your life was going to like fix their life somehow or fulfill their life somehow, where that's not what relationships are. So again, no, I feel like if anything that you guys will do something together, something, again, humanitarian wise, like something, again, healing wise, something, because this person is a partner, they would help you. They would, again, they did it as friends, they would in life. It's just what they do. That's like a soul's partner. And that's what I had with my husband. And that's it's a very sacred union. You learn trust, you learn intimacy, you learn really, again, like how to surrender, because there is unconditional love. And it's something that, again, you had to really go through hell to get that type of relationship. And I feel like that's why it's happened. It's a blessing. It's because you were good, you know? So any other questions? Does anyone have any questions? It's like Bueller. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And I'm glad that you resonated with your reading. Thank you, thank you. And whoever else resonated with Vanessa's reading, well, then good. It's all about integrating spiritual wounds, because when you do find love. And that is, again, because relationships are real. Problems happen. You have to be able to go with the flow of life. If you can't go with the flow of life, then the control issues and all that. So you found it. So again, you can thank all those bad relationships, because that's what you knew didn't work. Thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you, everybody else. Until next time, be true to you. Always love you. Bye-bye.